The Tale of Sophie. It was Sunday, the 16th of June. Another day. Another day looking at a blank screen, computer keys staring back at me. I tap on a key, but I can't form a singular word to save my life. What am I to do? The weatherman on the television predicted another lethargic summer night. I, on the other hand, predicted another night of relentless solitude and benign thoughts. If that wasn't enough to make matters worse, I was fortunate to be courted to interruptions from the neighbors down the hall. A woman and her felony boyfriend, who I believe was on strike number 2 as it just so happens. I know. Pair of aces. They moved in a few months back, and if they weren't arguing about God knows what, they make up for it with members of a Nazi tribute group, in and out, at all hours of the night. The police have taken up more time in that apartment than these two have combined. The woman was decent. She looked to be maybe in her late 20s, but she was what is referred to as rode hard, put away wet. And the man, well, was what you'd expected. Bald meathead with tattoos extending all the way down to his fingernails, a hardened expression and track marks that ran longer than his history with the law enforcement. I've only spoken to the woman a handful of times, and most of it was, "How's it going?" followed by a nod to be cordial. He, on the other hand, wasn't as neighborly. I haven't had much interaction with him, but everything I do, well, let's just say his manners are as good as his IQ. I hate having to adhere to their existence, if I'm being frank, but I'm old-fashioned. I can't bring myself to be rude in anyone's presence. It's not very gentlemanly. I could almost swear it. They look to have been plucked straight out of a trailer park or every backwoods chainsaw horror film. If you ask me, they had to have been related. The nights went as following. Around 8 p.m., he came home. 8:15, they argued about something. The usual. 8:30, cops arrive. She sobs and refutes to press any charges. 8:34, she's still crying. 9 p.m., the walls are practically shattering from their incestuous animalistic lovemaking. That was how most days had gone. Well, this wasn't like most days. I would guess it was late in the afternoon, bordering early evening. The sunset was just beyond the horizon. I had woken up from a much-needed nap. I had been up the night before, straining myself to write down a single creative thought for my next book, in between getting a bite to eat. Tonight was different. For the life of me, I couldn't concentrate. I don't know if it was my appetite or the lighting in this apartment, but I wasn't feeling like myself. Hell, I didn't even feel alive. Then, it started up again. The man came home, drunk and stayed, as usual, this time banging on the door. "Teresa, let me in!" he screamed. banging so hard I could hear the wood splintering. That went on for about 30 minutes, all while she was on the other side of the door yelling back at him. I guess she must have decided she had had enough. I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming. If you ask me, the real victim was the child the two of them had spawned. If it wasn't the drowning of their inconceivable arguing that numbed my thoughts, the desperate cries of a child was enough to drive a man mad. The door broke open after a few minutes with the man pounding his fist against it. The screaming match intensified after he broke in. Then, something caught my attention. I almost missed it, if it wasn't a constant these days. Silence. Then, a faint thud. Just mind your own business. I thought I had often coursed through my head, sitting steadily at my computer sipping a glass of bourbon that lost its taste and just became more of a habit than a necessity. I could hear glass breaking all over the place, and the echoes of a woman's tears falling to the ground. I had done such a good job at keeping to myself. I had long ago made a promise to never get myself involved in others' affairs, as the last time had taken a good chunk of my life. I told myself that the cops would probably be here soon. But what if? What if it's too late? No, don't do it. It's none of your business, Damien. They are but mere cattle, slaughtering each other for no good. I couldn't help but feel a slight sense of responsibility. What if the woman needed help? What if the child had been hurt? I could battle my own demons no longer. The glass I had held for the last hour, stained with a bourbon brown tint, shook from the nerves that had begun to run through my cold veins. I set the glass down and walked to the door. There, I peeked through the keyhole. Nothing. It was like a ghost town in these narrow halls. I opened the door. The creak of these old century doors gave away your every move. I poked my head out to get a better look at the hallway. Still, no one in sight. That's when I noticed the door. Dangling loosely on the hinges, a beat of heavy breathing was coming from inside the room. I hesitated. I had gone so long without getting involved. Did I really want to ruin it because two idiots couldn't keep their business quiet? Damn. I mumbled under my breath as I slowly slipped through the thin opening of my door. I closed it gently. I looked both ways when I crossed the hallway. The feeling of dread sunk into my stomach. I had no clue what to expect. I peeked around the opening of the doorway and looked in, half expecting him to have her bent over a broken table, giving it to her like she owed him money. "Hello?" I called out. Loud enough, but not enough to put the spotlight on me. No response back. I tiptoed into the doorway. Immediately I could see glass and garbage sprawled across, no one in near sight. It looked like gremlins had rummaged through looking for food. "Hello?" I called out again. this time the emphasis behind a little more worried. Yet again, no one responded. Wait, I hear someone. No, please, no. A man's voice cried out. The man's voice was so shrill. I thought of what might have happened as I made my way to him. No, I said in a hoarse tone. The man rocked back and forth, tears sliding down his face. The woman huddled in the corner, pressing her bloody face against her palms. She was dead. She lied there still. I sprinted in the blink of an eye over and grabbed the lifeless body from his arms. I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. He cried out. Quiet! I barked. As the result of my selfishness, an infant lost her life. A life she didn't ask for. The feeling coming over me was unfamiliar. Something I hadn't recognized in a long time. I had lost hope to ever feel humane again. Hey, what's with your teeth? My teeth? Why do they look like that? Like alligator teeth? My emotions had risen so much, I forgot what I was. I forgot who I was. After a moment, I leaned in closer to the little one. The man shot up, grabbing my arm, whipping me around. Hey, what do you think you're doing, freak? I glared at him, fire burning in my eyes. The man's eyes widened in fear. He stumbled backwards, reaching for anything to help him keep upright. This is what not getting involved had gotten me. Well, more of what was lost. Guess this is making up for lost times. Hey, get away from me! The door eased shut. Blood-curdling screams filled the rundown apartment. The man cried out as I snapped his bones like a toothpick. But please, we didn't mean to. The woman whimpered as I threw her against the wall, cracking the back of her head wide open like a grapefruit. All was quiet. For the first time in a long time, I felt like myself. I had denied who I really was for so long. I forgot what it was like to feed. I made my way back to the front door. I leaned against the doorway to catch my breath for a moment. I haven't eaten like that in centuries. Was this the right decision? Should I have gotten involved? Shh. Don't worry, little one. It takes some time getting used to it. As I made it back to my apartment, I peeked into the hallway once more to make sure the coast was clear. I shouldn't be surprised no one was around. I dimmed the lights inside my bedroom. She was fighting to keep her eyes open, curling her fingers in between my facial hair. Rest, little one. There will be plenty of time to play. I laid her down inside the coffin. She was fast asleep in no time. I fell back onto the couch. I am exhausted. I never pictured myself as a father. Hell, I never pictured myself as anything. And yet, I am now both. Oh, right. There's that dreadful blank screen nagging at me. It was worse than the landlord and his foul European food seeping through the walls. I planted myself in front of the computer. I reached over to sip the glass of bourbon. Only this time, I stopped it short of my stained lips and glanced at it. I didn't need it. I didn't want it. I find no use for the habit. It utterly repulsed me. I set the glass down and began to type. I felt clear. I was typing the keys so fast, I knew for sure I would have some spell check to do, but the inspiration had suddenly risen. I couldn't ignore it. Could it be that in a moment of unselfishness, in the blink of an eye, getting involved was all I needed to find my inspiration? The night beat on, and I was halfway through my book. I hadn't written like this in so long. Dawn approached. Exhaustion made itself present as I yawned longingly. I should get some rest. There's much to do tonight. I almost forgot. I need to save the changes. Ah, yes. A title. What shall I call you? Then, it occurred to me. I turned around to look at the coffin, and it came to me. I think I shall call her Sophie.